Welcome to The Daily, your quick dive into what's moving markets. Brought to you by your favorite share trading platform, Moomoo. It's Tuesday, August 19th, so let's get you up to speed. US equity markets barely budged overnight, with the major indices closing flat. Investors seem to be treading water ahead of a key global economic summit happening later this week, while also assessing continuing corporate earnings releases. But while the broader market was quiet, there were some big headlines among individual stocks. Berkshire Hathaway made waves by disclosing a $1.57 billion stake in United Health. That's being read as a solid vote of confidence in the health insurer, and the market responded. United Health shares rode 1.5% on the news. That stock, with a $280 billion market cap, has been on a significant decline since April, but a steady rebound in August. Intel, on the other hand, had a tougher session. Reports are circulating that the US government is considering converting its grants to the company into equity, potentially taking a 10% stake. While that would be a significant shift in how public funding supports private enterprises, investors didn't love the idea. Intel closed down nearly 3.7%. Meanwhile, Meta slipped 2.3% as the company announced a potential restructuring of its AI division. It's considering splitting its so-called superintelligence lab, which is currently at the center of its long-term AI strategy. Uncertainty around that move weighed on the stock. It was the biggest change of the US tech megacaps overnight. Now let's talk crypto. Bitcoin and Ethereum are both coming off their record highs. Bitcoin has dropped to around $116,000, a fall of almost 7% from last week's peak of $124,000. Ethereum's seen an even steeper decline, down more than 8% since last Thursday. So what's behind the retreat? Stronger than expected US inflation data has dashed hopes for near-term rate cuts, and that's cooled risk appetite across the board. On top of that, comments from the US Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent have added pressure. He flagged potential limits to the US strategic Bitcoin reserve, dampening investor sentiment. Now, looking ahead, Home Depot will be the first of the major US retailers to report earnings this week. That's one to watch, especially for signals on US consumer spending. The stock's been tearing upward in August, and analysts are forecasting EPS of around $4.27. Across in Asia, Hong Kong-listed Xiaomi and Mart are also due to report today. We will see if Mart has more room to run, following its meteoric 600% gain in the past year, partly due to the Labubu craze. And closer to home here in Australia, we'll see results from market heavyweights Woodside and CSL. We've already heard from BHP this morning. The mining giant posted a 26% slide in earnings, its weakest result in years. As a result, it's cutting its dividend. Another signal that global commodity pressures, particularly in iron ore prices, are weighing heavily on the sector. So what does this mean for the local market? Well, sentiment muted globally and plenty of focus on individual earnings. We're expecting the ASX to open lower this morning. Investors are clearly in a cautious mood as we hit the peak of reporting season. And of course, all eyes are turning to that central bank summit into the US later this week. Any signals out of that meeting, especially around interest rate policy, could set the tone for markets globally heading into September. That's it for this morning's edition of The Daily. We'll be back tomorrow with the latest updates on what they mean for your trades. Until then, happy investing.